What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Before we get into anything today, we are going to be live on this channel tonight around 7 p.m. to watch the first game of the Yankees-Red Sox series. More importantly, it is the return of Nate Eovaldi. If you haven't been yet, one, you can use it as a venting session because good Lord. But two, it is a ton of fun, I promise, so I highly recommend you going. Again, that is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time to watch the Red Sox-Yankees game. Anyways, let's talk about the Red Sox in general because that sucked, huh? Good Lord, what a series. The Red Sox simply let the Tampa Bay Rays sweep them. And what I mean by that is that there are two ways that a team can get swept, right? The first is that simply the team that they're facing is just better than you. And I don't think that's the case with the Red Sox and the Rays. The other way is that the Red Sox simply just handed them a win. They lost this series, the Rays did not win it, and that's what happened in this series. Which leads me to the title of this video. Did the Red Sox give up? Have they given up? Because many fans online, on my comments throughout the year and throughout the last couple series in particular, have given up on this Red Sox team. They have talked about destroying the whole team, trading everyone away, rebuilding it from the ground up. We've talked about how this team just simply doesn't have what it takes to be competitive in this league. There have been so many different ways that the Red Sox fan and Red Seat community has talked about this Red Sox team and given up on this Red Sox team in 2022. Now, there are two ways that you can look at what's going on with the Red Sox right now. You can go that way. You could say that everything is bad and this team just doesn't have what it takes, or you can try to remain positive. And I'm going to be the devil's advocate in this video. I'm going to try and give you guys some hope, something to cling onto for this Red Sox season, because I simply just don't think it's time to fully give up on this Red Sox team. But at the end of the day, our opinion simply doesn't matter. I'm still going to try and motivate you guys, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the only people whose opinion matters right now is this Red Sox team. Have the Red Sox given up on themselves? And that is what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about what went down in this Tampa series, why it was such a terrible series, and we're going to talk about whether or not this Red Sox team has given up, whether or not the fight that we saw in June is gone, and whether or not they can regain some momentum. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Don't be afraid to hit that like button either. It helps out these videos a ton. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. To talk about whether or not the Red Sox have given up, we need to take a look at what actually happened in this Rays series. Because normally what I do is I take out bits and pieces from this series and I create basically a highlight reel of the offense, of the defense. We talk about whether or not the pitching did well and what didn't do well. But in this series, there were really only three good things that happened. You had Chris Sale coming back, who looked fantastic. He went 5 innings, struck out 5, only walked 1, and didn't allow a single run. The second thing is that Rafael Devers hit the most absurd home run I've ever seen, and he did this twice, I think, in Tampa. I remember his other one being a golf ball too, but he hit a changeup at his shins and turned it around and hit it 390 something feet. That is absolutely insane. No human should be able to take a ball that is going into the dirt and hit it to Jupiter. That's just not human, and Rafael Devers just simply isn't human at this point. And the last thing is that Cutter Crawford has stepped up in a big way. The Red Sox pitching rotation has been absolutely decimated lately, and for Cutter Crawford to come out and pitch the way that he's pitching against really good teams says something about his character. He went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, which were all in the 7th inning, and we can talk about that in a little bit as to whether or not the managing was up to snuff in this series. But either way, 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, and not a single walk. Again, huge step up for Cutter Crawford. But that's where the highlight reel ends. That's it. That's everything good that happened in this series. In fact, there were so many bad things that happened in this series that one could make a blooper style reel with some really goofy music behind it, and it would look like a legitimate blooper reel. And luckily for you, that's exactly what I did. Here is everything that went wrong in this Rays series. That video is way too long of a blooper video for a team who's competing for a wild card spot right now. And some of you may be sitting there like, yeah, that's it. That's the nail in the coffin. I've tried to be positive about this team. They have completely let me down. This team simply isn't built for the postseason. And this is where I'm going to try and give you some hope. I'm going to try and give you guys something to cling on to for this Red Sox team when everything kind of looks dull right now. Because despite the Red Sox losing almost every series in July, despite the fact that they haven't beaten AL East team, despite the fact that they are losing in the most miserable ways possible, this Red Sox team still managed to hold on to a wild card spot. If the season ended today, they would be in a wild card spot, or at least contending for one at best. They are barely alive, but they are alive. They have been shattered by injuries this month. We put out a minor league pitching staff for 20 games this month. That's an insane number. We started 4 rookies this month for the first time since 1945. Since World War II was the last time that we put out 4 rookies in a row. That's how decimated we were by injuries this month. And I'm not saying that this is an excuse and that everything's gonna be peachy clean when the actual starters come back, but you gotta look at the good with the bad. You have to determine why this is happening, and that is part of the reason. Does this completely excuse what we saw in Tampa? Absolutely not. The Tampa Bay Rays are not a better team than the Boston Red Sox, yet the Boston Red Sox handed them wins time and time again. Literally every single game in this series, there was something that happened in one inning in particular that blew the game for the Red Sox. There were such little league plays throughout this entire series that I genuinely think a legitimate little league team could go out there and make the plays that the Red Sox simply didn't. There are still 72 games left in this season. The Atlanta Braves at the deadline last year were told to sell, not to buy. The 2019 Nationals were told that they were never even making a playoff spot, and both of those teams went on to win World Series. And I'm not saying that the Red Sox are the Atlanta Braves. I'm not saying that they are the 2019 Nationals. I'm just giving you guys some context and some hope to see that maybe not all is lost just because we've hit a bad stretch. There are still 72 games. We saw the Red Sox fall from grace at the beginning of this year. We saw how terrible they started. Then we saw them pick it up and bring it back together. This time, they are only about 1-2 games out of being back into where they were come the end of June. One good series puts them back in a position to hold on to the top wild card spot, and that's something you need to remember, because despite the terrors, despite the troubles, despite the problems with this Red Sox team, they are still in contention for a playoff spot. We are about to hit the deadline. We're about to get people back from the IL. We're about to get trades from the trade deadline. There's about to be an entirely different Red Sox team put out there, and this time they don't have to claw their way back into a playoff spot. They just have to be able to maintain it, and that's the big difference between the first time we've seen them struggle this year and this time. However, I can sit here all day and I could talk about why you shouldn't let this Red Sox team die, why you shouldn't let this Red Sox team go, and why you shouldn't blow this team up. But at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, my opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. The only opinions that matter right now are the guys on the field, the guys in the locker room, and the guys in the front office. Whether or not the Red Sox have given up on this season is what we need to focus on. And personally, I don't know if they have. It seems like they are just completely mentally out of games recently, and it sucks. But at the same time, right, we've seen this team go from battling for last place to battling for second place in this division. We've seen them put up the fight against the best team in the American League and pretty much all of baseball, with pitchers who have only pitched 3 times in the major leagues. We've seen this team battle, and it wouldn't make sense to me for this team to give up right now. But again, at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. The Red Sox need to show us that they can and will fight for this division. So the only thing we can do now is wait and see. Wait and see if the Red Sox have that fight in them, and wait and see if the Red Sox can genuinely put something together. What kind of fight does this Red Sox team have? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this. I know I'm probably going to get torched for all this. I understand that it's more realistic for everyone to be like, this team sucks, this team's over, this season's over, trade away Xander, we need something back, blah, 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 right? That's what I'm kind of expecting you guys to say, but I could be wrong, so let me know in the comment section down below. Do you still have hope? Are you completely out on this team? What are your thoughts on the current state of the Red Sox? And let me know just everything you're thinking down below. As always, if you've made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox almost every single day. You made it to the end, you clearly enjoy the content, you might as well subscribe, you might as well like, and you might as well share with a friend or family member who loves the Red Sox as much as you do. Hopefully give them some hope as well. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. I'll see you tonight on the live stream and in the red seats.